Hey Priscilla, how's it going?
Good morning. Good. I'm getting ready right now. I'm gonna head to an appointment with the lender and a client to get his pre-approval going.
I love this. I feel like you have so much in the pipeline right now. Is that how you feel too?
Yeah, it felt like nothing last week and then like 2 weeks ago, and then now I feel like I'm going crazy.
This is perfect.
That one of the 1.8 million house in
Mhm.
Mapleton, he told me he's like interviewing other agents as well, but I think I was the only one who was able to give him an additional 500 square footage. So I told
Oh,
him, like,
sweet.
basically let me know if those agents were able to do that. Like, I tried to undermine those agents, like in a nice way,
Yeah.
but let me know if they pulled the county record for you just to confirm your square footage. Like, I went above and beyond for you, which I'm going to do. And
Yeah.
then he's texting me like he I was like, his name's like Mr. Spencer type of thing, his name. And he's like, do not call me that. Call me my name. Like, I was like, oh God, he scared me. I was like, okay, got it.
Oh, that's funny. Well, good. Keep it up. Keep in contact with these because um, some of these are going to work out real well for you. And it's going to be like, it almost feels so easy, right? When looking back on it, like that's literally Amy. She has her listing and she's getting offers and things. And it all started as a FISBO and it worked out. But then other times it's going to be like, you feel like you'll do so much work and talk to them so much, and then it won't go anywhere. So even though you feel busy right now, I would say don't let up on that marketing and the strategy that you're running because it's working. And then if we can start getting listings, I mean, listings are easier than buyers. It seems a little more stressful as you three all on the call are have done a listing or are doing listings right now. They are more stressful, but they're way easier because when a buyer wants to buy a house, you are driving around the valley looking at all of the different houses. When a seller wants to sell their house, you list it on the market and you just wait. I mean, there's obviously work that you do, but you don't have to jump around and be ready at a moment's notice to show a house or waste your evenings all the time. So listings are better. Why Gary Keller in the red book here, he says leads, listings, leverage. That's the formula. Generate leads, get listings. When you get too busy, hire people as your leverage. That's the business model. So, all right, what are we talking about today?
I have a
Well,
question.
go
Sorry.
for it. No, go for it.
No, no, no. Go, go, go.
No, you ask yours if you want.
Okay. I have this buyer right now and I'm gonna go with him. They're approving him for 450 at a 6.5, and then he's giving 5% down on a conventional since he already had an FHA loan prior that he just purchased a couple years ago. So basically, like, he has to give a down payment and I have to work in like my 3%.
Hmm.
I'm like a little nervous about that conversation because I did briefly bring it up yesterday. And then I told him, like, he goes, oh, well, I'll sign the listing agreement. I mean, sorry, the buyer agreement once I look at the numbers and the numbers work. If they work for me, then we'll talk about that. And I go, okay, I just want to let you know that most of the time we could get it from the sellers. But in the case that we didn't, that would be, that would be, you're like basically like you would have to pay me, so I want, like, I don't know if you can just say it so I can have that fresh in my brain, like how you would say it, that's not so intimidating.
Yep. Amy, Callie, do either of you want to go first? How would you say that? Amy went on mute. I guess that's no. Um,
Uh,
I can give you just what I had that conversation, but it was a little different because it was with my dad. But I was just basically I explained to him that, hey, my cost for the work as your buyer's agent is going to be 3%, but I am going to negotiate that with any offer that the seller pays it. That is going to be part of our offer, and we're going to list that. If we run into a seller that is unwilling to pay that, then we need to discuss how we negotiate that. Since it's my dad, I'm willing to take 2.5 on that and have him pay less. But my plan is to really push to have the seller pay it, whether that changes, because basically, as your offer, you're going to either offer less or you're going to have them pay it, is how I would negotiate that. You're going to offer less than the listing price or the asking price, or you're going to have them pay it, or both. But, it's always negotiable. I'm hoping that your sellers in general are not going to be jerks, but that's kind of the approach. If he can't afford it, then yeah, you need to probably figure out what you're willing to take.
Yeah, so I say something very similar. I like Kelly how you put that. So show your value, right? Rule number one is you don't reveal your price until you show your value. Like that's sales 101. So share your value on everything that you'll do and why you should be using you as an agent. We missed this part of the formula before when we didn't have to really disclose. Well, we always had to have a buyer broker, but it was a little more obscure when we did it in the past. But you have to show your value. What are you going to do? Why should they work for you? And then at that point, my transition question is, you're probably wondering how I get paid. It sounds like you've already had this conversation, so you don't need to have that sort of a transition. And I just tell them, so how it works out is I am 3% of the purchase price. And that's how I do all this value. I feed my family, I have to pay my broker, I have to pay taxes on all of that. So that 3% is what I get. Now I can get that three different ways. And actually the first is the most common, and I will negotiate it right into our contract when we buy a house that the seller will pay me. 9 times out of 10, I'm able to do that and it will satisfy me and give me enough money that I'm happy. The second way is we can actually have the lender cover some of that as part of our closing costs that they do. They can wrap it into the loan. There's a lot of different ways that they can make that work. And to be honest, I don't even know how it works because I don't do that very frequently. The third way is that you would have to come up with the funds. Now, that is my last case scenario. And if we do get to that, I'm going to make sure that it's a win-win for you because I still want you to get the right house for you. And so you'll be part of this conversation the whole time, but know that first we're going to get the seller, next we'll get the lender, last you'll have to do something. And if you have to do something, then we're going to figure out who else could bring us some of the money, what other discounts could we get to make it a win-win. Because I need to get paid and you need to get the right house. And so that's kind of how I present it. Thoughts?
No, everything was great. Thank you. I'm writing it all down.
Yeah, that was helpful. Both of those, Callie and Cameron. Dean always says, he says, no commission. I will not let commission come in the way of you and the house that you want to get.
And the easiest way is to just be confident about it, right? Even like one of my last listings, I said, I'm a 3% agent. What do you want to give the buyers? And they didn't even like question my 3%. They're just like, yeah, you're 3, like, period. And so if you come in confident, like if you're like, well, I am, like 3%, I think. Does that sound okay? The first thing that they're gonna do is like, could we do 2? Right? But if you just come in and say it's 3% for everything that I've just showed you, and here's how I'm gonna get it paid for you. Like I'm negotiating for you, so I'm going to try to get you the best house, and I'm going to get me 3%. I can't go over that, but If you ask for 2%, I'm going to try to get more of a discount anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get you the best house, and I need enough money to make it make sense. So be confident and just say it directly. I'm 3%. Now you can say whatever, like disclosure, whatever. I don't know. There's probably rules about what I should tell you to say and not, but it's very easy to say 3% and justify it. Right? If you have a plan for 4%, do it. We were talking yesterday in our team meeting. Are you going to pay for movers? Would you pay for a handyman to come in and fix everything and do all of that and charge them 4%? Sure. You can ask that from the sellers. Pay me 4%, and then just let them know I'm not going to ask for any repairs because I'm going to pay for things at closing. We're going to make the move out real easy because I'm already paying for movers for them. So yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more to me, but that's actually going to make the transition or the transaction smoother. So you could even pitch that to a seller in the offer on why you want 4% and see how that works. So it's all up to you, whatever you're going to do. But I suggest go higher rather than lower. Okay, Amy, what's your question?
All right, that was a good question. Priscilla had. Mine is so as I told you yesterday, Cameron, my buyers backed out of my listing.
Yep.
And had a great conversation with the buyer's agent last night. And she was super helpful in explaining the reason, and no big red flags in the inspection. They're just out-of-state buyers who have a low tolerance for doing much. And their main issue is the property boundaries. And so they want to put in a fence and they're not sure exactly where it would go. So, that may not be an issue for other people. So I talked to my sellers this morning about the plan and kind of what's going on. And we talked about how we're going to start moving forward and getting a survey done so that people have no question about where the property boundary is. The homeowner feels very confident and can show people.
Oh, did we lose you? Amy?
Owners might not be.
Oh, you're back.
So
You cut out for a minute. You were saying that they'll do the survey.
So we're going to move forward getting a survey.
Technology doesn't want us to hear that next sentence. You there, Amy? Amy. Hello. And we lost her. Okay, well, I'm going to call her so you guys don't get to hear the question. But go and call some people today. It's the last business day for P&L, so make those phone calls. If you don't know what to say, we are running a first-time homebuyer seminar class on October 10th. And you can start talking about that and tell them that you'll send them more information as we get closer to see if they can come or if they know anyone they should do that. You can talk about Jaker's Pumpkin Patch if you're doing that, or you can just catch up on with them. Hey, how's it going? It's been a minute. Have those kind of conversations. So go crush it. We have Courtney teaching today for Ignite. So if you can make it in, it will be awesome. So I will see you all later. Have a great one.